What'd you say? Yeah, a little bit, but we're good. We got Patrick Cantlay in here. Good to go, Matt? All right, we'd like to welcome Patrick Cantlay to the interview room here at the Wells Fargo Championship. Patrick is making his second start at the event and in his first appearance at Quail Hollow since the President's Cup. So, Patrick, if we could just get an opening comment from you on being back here at Quail Hollow.
Yeah, this is a tournament I haven't played a lot of, in my career. Played last year for the first time, and now that it's a designated event back here to play, I'm looking forward to it. The course is in great shape.
All right, we'll take some questions out here. If you have a question, we'll get a microphone to you. We're going to start up here with Dan Rappaport.
I think everyone wants to ask you about the guy carrying your bag. What was the process like of talking to Tiger, talking to Joe, talking to Rev, just the whole process of now having Joe LaCava on your bag?
Yeah, I mean, I've been friends with Fred Couples a long time. He's been in Newport Beach for a number of years now, and we've played a lot of golf together, so I've heard a number of great things about Joe. And, when I reached out to Joe, he said it was possible, and it ended up working out, and I'm really happy about it.
Did you speak to Tiger at all about it? Or
I haven't spoken to Tiger.
And then what was the decision process like with Rev? Why did that? You guys had obviously a ton of success together. Is it just needing a new voice?
Yeah, we accomplished a lot together, and I'm really proud of all we accomplished. He's a great friend of mine, and we had a lot of good finishes together and a lot of wins. And so I'm incredibly grateful to him. Just needed a change.
Rex?
Pat, has anyone from the USGA or RNA reached out to get your opinion on the proposed new golf ball? Yes, they had a representative call me. And what were your thoughts, if you don't mind sharing them?
Yeah, I think it's a bad idea. I don't think that it would help the game. I think bifurcation is really bad for the game. I think one of the best things about our game is that all the people that play at my home club can play the exact same equipment that I do, and that's different than pretty much every other sport. The fact that I can go play with Dr. Earlbaum at my club, who's a 20 handicap, and I can give him 28 shots, and we can have a match, from the same tees. That's fantastic. I wouldn't want to go back and then play different equipment than him or different equipment than the club champ at Virginia, who already hits it 15 or 20 yards by me as it is.
And I find that you think things through very, very well, opposed to some of your colleagues on the tour. Have you thought about how, let's say it dials it back 12%, whatever the number is going to be, how that would impact your game?
I don't really think much of it. I imagine that the best players are still going to be the best players. If anything, it probably gives more advantage to the guys that hit it far, because I can't imagine the tee boxes moving up at Augusta, and they only have 2 sets of tees. So it probably would just separate the guys that hit it farther already even more, because there would now be a big, we live in a world now where most guys that hit it average can get to a lot of the par 5s. If they dialed it back how they're talking about, there's a lot of guys that would no longer be able to get to a number of par 5s out here, but the guys that can get to those par 5s are still going to, the guys that get there now with long irons are going to be able to get there with 5 woods or 3 woods. And so I think, if anything, if they roll it back, the guys that hit it far will get an increased advantage.
Todd?
I know you've worked with Joe before, but in the small sample size that you have working with him, what do you already see that he can contribute to your game?
Yeah, he's just a steady hand on the steering wheel, and I know he's been in every moment a caddy could be in, and he's just a good guy, and so I've enjoyed the limited time that I've spent with him, and feel confident that we'll be a good team out there.
Shane?
Patrick, I'm going out with Gary Young tomorrow morning to sort of get a bird's eye view of the pace thing and to write something about it. I probably haven't followed it as much as I should be, but I thought maybe a good question for you would be, what is something I should look for tomorrow, or something people should know that they don't know about slow play in general or the pace of things?
Yeah, I would look at average times that it's taken rounds to finish on tour going back 10 or 20 years. I think they have pretty good data on that. And, I would, if you really wanted to make guys play faster, you would put the tees up and you would put easier hole locations, and the greens would roll at 10. If you really wanted to, and you'd hope it never blew more than 10 miles an hour. When you get really tricky days and the greens are really fast and the hole locations are on lots of slope, it's going to take a longer time to play. But, like I've said before, rounds on tour have been pretty much taken the same amount of time for a number of years now. And I don't think they're going to set up the golf course in a way, like I said, to make rounds, go a lot faster. I talked to Jay Monahan today. He said New Orleans, the golf tournament finished 24 minutes ahead of schedule, and they had 24 minutes of dead time after the tournament ended. And he said no one was complaining that they finished too early.
I confirm what you just said yesterday with a rep from the tour that these times have been pretty steady. If that's the case, why now is it becoming, at least in my perception, such a huge issue? Why are more people talking about it?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Maybe shorter attention spans.
Other questions? Adam?
Patrick, just to keep going on the slow play, do you think you've been unfairly criticized over the weeks, and have you kind of seen any of the reaction on social media and what that's all been like?
I don't worry if I'm unfairly criticized. It's a similar question to, do you feel you're underrated or not talked about, which I've gotten before. I don't pay too much attention to that. I just try and shoot the lowest scores I possibly can. And like I've said before, I don't spend any time on social media, so I haven't seen any of it.
Coming back here from the President's Cup, is there anything that you learned here that you're going to be able to take out here this week? I know it's different from a team format to a 72-hole golf tournament, but is there anything you took away from that week that's going to help you out here this week?
The President's Cup's setup was a lot different. No overseed, and it was a different time of year. The golf course was playing a lot firmer for President's Cup, and then it being match play made it a little different. So not so much. It's actually a lot more similar to when I played the Wells Fargo for the first time last year.
Dan?
Your record in big PGA Tour events is very, very good. In events like this, the playoffs, it's better than your record in the major championships. Have you thought about why that might be?
Not much. I tend to think that that will even itself out over time. And if I just keep applying the same game plan, I should have better results.
It's a small sample size type of thing?
Could be. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if I had a number of good finishes in majors going forward. So we'll see.
Finish up with Matt.
Patrick, I'm wondering if you have a primary swing thought, and if you do, what is it?
I think a lot about like rhythm or sequence, but trying to get all the parts of my swing moving at the right time. And a lot of times for me, that's more time at the top of the golf swing.
And lastly, with maybe Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm just wondering if you've noticed any connection between your mental health, mental wellness, and the success that you find on the golf course, and if there's anything that you do at home or off the golf course that kind of helps to flex that muscle.
To be honest, I don't think much about it.
All right, we'll finish up there. Thank you very much for your time, Patrick, and best of luck this week.
All right, thank you.